there, neighbors. This is Diane Sanders with Sanders Family Real Estate, and I'm here in your park with Jerald Garcia, a newly elected board member. I want to give you an inside look at what goes on a little bit with your HOA, how decisions are made, and kind of what their thought process is. I work in many subdivisions. There's always problems with the HOA, the board members, and the management company and the residents. There's always some complaints. That's normal. It's not just in your subdivision. The board members, like Jerald is one of, are elected by you, the homeowners, the residents. The management company, in this case, it's Inframark, is chosen by the board members. What their job is to carry out the rules and regulations of the bylaws and to help out with the board members some of their requests. The board members are volunteers, you guys. They're unpaid. They put in all this time and effort for free. The management company, on the other hand, is paid. So keep that distinction. And we'll go ahead and start with Jerald right now and jump in. Hey, Jerald, tell me a little bit about yourself, how long you've been here on the board. I know you've been on the board before, and maybe why you decided to make a run at it again.
Well, I've lived in the community for a little over 30 years, and I wanted to protect my investment as well as for it to retain its value.
Anything else you want to add?
I enjoy doing a lot of the things that I do for the community. Just like I say, everything that the board does to the community is nothing more than protecting your investments.
Aren't you right now in the process of getting the Easter egg hunt going?
Yes, we are doing an Easter egg hunt this month for the community, and it's always been a tradition for our HOA to do a Easter egg hunt the 4th of July parade, and of course the National Night Out in October. We believe strongly in the community to where everybody gets to meet everybody, and especially the children get to enjoy themselves.
Do you still need volunteers for that?
I think we've got the volunteers covered.
Fabulous.
There's a
Fabulous.
tremendous amount of residents that have volunteered to participate in the activities for the kids. There will be carnivals for the kids. I believe they are tacos that are pre-made. Of course, the Easter egg hunt for all the kids. Going to have an Easter bunny out here. Not a cakewalk, but it's a stuffed animal walk.
Oh, fun. That's something different.
It will all be here in the community area where the pool and the kids' playground is located.
Now to a not so fun question. How are decisions made between the board members when you want to do a capital project? Like right now, y'all, the pool behind us, there's someone working there and they're resurfacing the pool. How are big projects like that made?
Sometimes the HOA contacting the property management company requests for vendors to give us a bid. Sometimes the board goes out to vendors and requests for bids. Once we get 3 to 4 bids on a project, it is presented to all the board members for them to review, analyze, and to ask questions. Once all the questions have been answered and everybody's comfortable with it, then you would take the 3 or 4 vendors, vote on which one each board member feels more comfortable with.
Jerald, do you want to kind of touch on briefly how management companies are chosen? And I know sometimes all subdivisions change management companies from time to time for various reasons. So how do y'all decide when to choose a management company, or how is that decision made, or maybe a little behind the scenes? What all goes on? Is it a simple process?
No, it's not an easy process. An HOA will want to change management companies when they have a problem getting results that they're anticipating. Some of these problems could be the drive-bys.
When they're looking at your house and writing violations.
Correct. Sometimes management companies lack a little experience in that. That's where the HOA board needs to step up and try to guide them into what their expectations are.
So Jerald, the board members are really kind of like a mediator or a go-between between the management company and maybe the property manager. I mean, if they're not doing their job, y'all would step in and kindly mention something that's not going correctly.
Yes, that is correct. Some board members feel like the management company should do everything. A lot of times when you're doing that, things get lost because manager has more than one property that they are managing.
Oh, so they've got several. They may be overloaded.
Sometimes they have as many as 8 to 12 properties that they manage. So when a board steps up due to the fact that they're not getting the proper response, then that helps that manager trying to do a better job because
Good.
here he has more
Good.
time.
And then if the management company doesn't step in and help out with that property management or change it if needed, then that might be a reason you might consider changing.
Definitely.
Okay. Is price a consideration too? Are they all priced about the same, or
They're all priced approximately the same.
behind the scenes kind of, what are some of the toughest problems or challenges that the board members deal with that the public or the residents have no idea of maybe?
Communications amongst the board members. Everything has to be done via email. Tremendous amount of records by law for a nonprofit organization, which is 99% of all HOAs. Board members that have full-time jobs, they have families, they want to do activities, and they don't have the time to spend.
So communication among yourself sometimes is an issue, like in anything in life. You know, I deal with a lot of different people. Communication is tough, especially when you're not paid.
Yes.
Okay, another question. This one y'all are gonna love because this is the one we all complain about the most. Let's talk rule enforcement. How does the process work before someone gets a fine when there's a drive-by and the green stuff growing on the side of your house and you get a note about that? What happens after that?
Some subdivisions do have fines. Our subdivision, Barker's Ridge, has no fines at the time. But the rule enforcement is done by the property management. They send out an individual to overview and drive the streets of that community and write down all the violations found. If your home happens to have a garbage can out on a Tuesday, garbage pickup was on Monday, then you would get a courtesy letter or from the management company. The next drive-by that they do could be 3 weeks later, could be 4 weeks later, could be 2 weeks later. If the garbage can is still out on a non-trash day pickup, you would receive a second letter. Now, some management companies are different. Some of them do 2 letters, one every 30 days. Some of them do 3 letters, one every 30 days. But then, regardless of which one it is, if it's the second letter or the third letter that the management company puts out, that letter would be a demand letter. And the next letter, we would send it to the attorney, because the HOA typically pays for the first and second letter or third letter. Once you get a demand letter from the attorney, then you're going to pay for that. The homeowner will pay for that letter. And that letter could cost anywhere from $150 to $250.
So if I get this right, the first couple of letters that go out, the HOA bears the cost, not just the postage, but the cost at the management company. Compose that letter, and they bill the management company. I mean, they bill us, Barker's
Yeah,
Ridge.
they build the HOA.
Okay.
Best thing to do if you get try to be courteous to your neighbors. Take care of your yard. Take care of your flower bed. Don't leave your garbage can out. Just minor little things that, one, is protecting your investment, your home. 2 is you're making it a more beautiful community.
I want to help. I want to volunteer, but I don't know what to do. Are there committees they can get on? Do they call? Do they text? What's the process? Is there a secret handshake? How does that work?
Go to the HOA meetings. Listen to what the complaints are. Listen to the board members talk. Get involved that way.
Barker's Ridge swim team is starting. I'm sure they always need volunteers. Contact them. Okay, Jerald, when it comes to maintaining the community, how do you guys decide which big projects to spend the homeowners' money on? For example, like right now behind us, there's construction going on. The pool is being resurfaced, I believe. So projects such as that, or fences or what have you, how do y'all choose?
Some HOAs have companies come out and do a reserve study. This reserve study consists of taking all major projects that a community has and estimating the time value and how much the community has to save each year in order to make those repairs. And those repairs are done as they are needed. But typically, they save the money years in advance before the project is completed. But that's just major projects.
Jerald, if a resident has a concern or something they think is needed to be done, what's the best way for them to bring it to the board's attention?
Best way, if there's a deed restriction or a concern, present it to your management company first.
And how do they do that?
Usually the management company established a contact to be able to provide the service that you're looking for. Now, if you're not getting a response in a reasonable time frame, then I would highly recommend reaching out to a board member.
So the first thing they should do is reach out to the management company, not get on Facebook and start complaining and raising all kinds of cane. That may be a third or fourth step, huh?
Definitely. Facebook is kind of like the last thing you want to put it on.
And finally, Jerald, what's something you wish the homeowners and the residents knew about being on the board?
Most people don't realize when they get on the board, it is time consuming. Working a full-time job and you're trying to maintain a young family, it's hard to do that. There is a lot involved in the HOA. That's the primary thing that when people join the HOA, they have to realize.
And it's unpaid.
And definitely
it's unpaid.
Unpaid.
Jerald, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. I know being on the board takes a lot of time. I know you're not paid, but it's something a lot of people do for the benefit of their property and their neighbor's property. Residents, I hope this has helped you. Jerald's got a very good insight because he's been on the board before, and I'm going to ask some other board members if they might like to do an interview too. So we'll see how it goes. But Jerald, thank you so much for giving your insights to this.
Diane, I appreciate you asking me. And anytime that you need anything, just holler at me.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for watching.